What's up, guys? This is Kavosky Irvin. Sorry, my voice is cracking. This is Kavosky Irvin, the host of the Humming Podcast. We're gonna restart that. Never mind. We're not gonna restart. We're gonna let the bloopers speak. I learned that one from Gary. I learned that from Gary, man. This is the host of the Humming Podcast. Thank you for tapping in. What's up, guys? This is your host Kavosky Urban with the Humming Podcast. Thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you for just joining. We got something super special. We got something nice for you guys. It's a beautiful story. But not only is it a beautiful story, it's from this book here. I got this book called The Recollections of and Letters of Robert E. Lee. Sorry. I don't even know why I didn't look at the title all the way through before I got on here, but that's just the way stuff goes sometimes. The Recollections and Letters of Robert E. Lee. I've been wanting to read this book with you guys in some fashion, some way, form, or fashion for quite a while. But here it is. I finally figured it out. What I would like to read of this. And it's a beautiful little story. And it goes like this. Here's a little backstory. Is called, the chapter is chapter 15. And it's called Mountain Rides. And they start to talk about his horse named Traveler. And then he has a little friend who has another horse named Lucy. And they go on trips through the mountains. They ride the horse through and different things. And so there's a lot of stories being going on in these communities. And as this is happening, we come across a beautiful story. And this beautiful story is introduced on page 265 as, I think Traveler appreciated his love and sympathy. I almost said sympathy. But someone which was Miss S.L.S.P. Lee, said this. I think Traveler appreciated his love and sympathy and returned it as much as was in a horse's nature to do. As illustrative of his bond between them, a very pretty story was told by Miss S.P. Lee. Okay, so here's the story. One afternoon in July of this year, the general rode down to the canal boat landing to put on board a young lady who had been visiting his daughters and was returning home. He dismounted, tied Traveler to a post, and was standing on the boat making his appido when someone called out that Traveler was loose. Sure enough, the gallant gray was making his way up the road, increasing his speed as a number of boys and men tried to stop him. My father immediately stepped ashore, called to the crowd to stand still, and advancing a few steps gave a peculiar low whistle. At the first sound, Traveler stopped and pricked up his ears. The general whistled a second time, and the horse with a glad whiny turned and trotted quickly back to his master, who patted and coaxed him before tying him up again. To a bystander expressing surprise at the creature's docility, the general observed that he did not see how any man could ride a horse for any length of time without a perfect understanding being established between them. My sister Mildred, who rode with him constantly this summer, tells me of his enjoyment of their long rides out into the beautiful, restful country. Nothing seemed to delight them so much, or delight him so much. I have often known him to give rein to Traveler and go at full speed to the top of some long hill, then turn and wait for me jogging along on Lucy, calling out with merry voice, "Come along, Miss Lucy, Lucy Long." He would question the country people about the roads, where they came from, where they led to, and soon knew every farmer's name and every homestead in the county. He often said, I wish I had a little farm of my own where we could live in peace to the end of our days. You girls could attend to the dairy and the cows and the sheep and wait on your mother and me. For it is time now for us old people to rest and for the young people to work. All the children in the country around were devoted to him and felt no hesitation in approaching him after they once knew him. He used to meet his favorites among the little ones on the street and would sometimes lift them up in front of him to give them a ride on Traveler. That was the greatest treat he could provide. There is a very special story told of Virginia Lee Letcher, his goddaughter, and her baby sister Fanny, which is yet remembered among the Lexington people. Jenny had been followed by her president's sister, and all the coaxing and commanding of the 6-year-old failed to make the younger return home. Fanny had sat down by the roadside to pout, and General Lee came riding by. Jenny at once appealed to him. General Lee, won't you please make this child go home to her mother? The general immediately rode over to where Fanny sat, leaned over from his saddle, and drew her up on his lap. There she sat in rural contentment, and was thus grandly escorted home. When Mrs. Letcher inquired of Jenny why she had given General Lee so much trouble, she received the naive reply, I couldn't make Fanny go home, and I thought he could do anything. We'll leave it right there, y'all. That's just a beautiful little story. I like stories. I love a sweet story. We could write a book about that sweet little story there. That's just one little story out of his huge book of letters and recollections, or recollections. Why come can't say recollections? Well, I'll keep messing up on that word. But that's just one little story out of it, out of the many, the war stories, the triumph stories, the failure stories, the love stories, the beautiful stories, the sweet stories, the letters and care, the letters in love, the letters in I guess I want to say care, but I'm trying to figure out a new word for it. The letters in attending to family that may be in dire need or depression or anger or frustration. Just a little letter. That's just a little bitty story out of that book. It's a big book. But I hope that story was sweet for you guys. It was sweet for me. You guys have a great day. Thank you for listening to the Humming Pod here as we continue to talk about sweet topics. Send me more of what I should be talking about, and I will be sure to do it for you guys. Talk to y'all later.